Happy New Year's Eve. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Princeton, where in our open and welcoming community, we live our message of hope, love, justice, and joy. We extend a special welcome to those of you visiting with us this morning. We're really happy that you're here. And if you haven't stopped by the newcomer table just outside those back doors in Robinson Lounge, we invite you to do so that we can get you any information that you'd like about our congregation. Happenings in the back of your order of service has tons of announcements about many of our upcoming events and activities, including that all are welcome to stay after worship next Sunday, January 7th, for a holistic advanced care planning and memorial service planning workshop right here. Reverend Jennifer and I are leading it, and this session will help us all think about what we'd like to communicate to our friends and families as we live our last days and what we'd like included in our memorial services. Guests and friends are very, very welcome to this workshop. Again, that's next Sunday after worship. Also, Rainbow Ministry invites everyone to a viewing of the 2023 film Rustin. That's on Saturday, January 13th at 7 p.m. here at UU Princeton. Rustin tells the story of Bayard Rustin, one of the most important leaders in the 1960s civil rights movement, whose story, which includes him being a gay man, has often been sidelined in history. It's a great film and a great gathering and discussion. And then the next day from our Racial Justice Ministry, we begin our next congregational book reading. The book is titled Dismantling the Racism Machine by Karen Gaffney. The author will be here Sunday the 14th after worship, and then there will be weekly small group sessions on Zoom. You can sign up in Robinson Lounge today or email the church office for more information. And now, friends, let us gather together with the call of peace guiding us, the zeal of children lifting us, and the warmth of community holding us. Come, let us worship together.
We spend January 1st walking through our lives, room by room, drawing up a list of work to be done, cracks to be patched. Maybe this year, to balance the list, we ought to walk through the rooms of our lives, not looking for flaws, but for potential. Ellen Goodman.
Let us join together in the spirit of prayer. Blessed is the day on which we gather in love, and the love that brings us together, and our hope to bless one another and the world. May the great spirit that sounds in each heart of peace and wholeness and service sound in our shared lives of those same gifts, only louder as we live together, proclaiming their grace and power. May we be of greater peace together. May we be of greater wholeness because we are one. May we be of greater service because our strength is gathered. And when we fall from these ideals, may our shared commitment remind us of them as we see them enlivened in this holy human congregation and in this holy human world. And here in the silence of this shared space, we offer these, the prayers and meditations of our hearts. May it be so, and amen.
There are 3 things I hope to let go of this year: despair, worry, and self-judgment. Because I remember, I despair. Because I remember, I have the duty to reject despair. This quote from Elie Wiesel, a man who suffered through the horrors of Auschwitz and Buchenwald, reminds me that it is important to try to rise above hardships rather than to hold on to them, to fight feelings of hopelessness, and to instead focus on making a positive change in the world. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Matthew 6:34. I spend a great deal of time planning, replanning, and planning some more, only to have those plans not go to plan. It's ill-advised to not plan at all, but this verse from the Gospel of Matthew reminds me that it's extremely important to be mindful and to live in the moment when things don't go the way I want them to. To liberate yourself from your own self-judgment is to liberate others from it as well. To love yourself is an act of love for the world. Thank you, Veronica Tugaleva, for reminding me that the ability to love others starts with loving myself. Seeing the good in me allows me to see the good in all people. As I said in my reflection from a few weeks ago, we all have a light in us, myself included. There are also 3 things I plan to hold on to this year: hope, joy, and love. Hope is that thing inside us that insists, despite all the evidence to the contrary, that something better awaits us if we have the courage to reach for it and work for it and to fight for it. Dear Barack Obama, yours are words I turn to often when I'm in need of some optimism. Thank you for reminding me of the importance of using my energy to fight for what I want and for what I believe in. Oh, and please be our president again. Find out where joy resides and give it a voice far beyond singing. For to miss the joy is to miss all. Robert Louis Stevenson. My husband, a very joyous person, often reminds me to find the joy in quotidian things: brushing my daughter's hair, cooking a meal, walking the dog. These are all things that I am afforded the opportunity to do, and this year, I plan to appreciate them a bit more. Have enough courage to trust love one more time, and always one more time. Maya Angelou implores us to never give up on love, to always choose it over hate, whether it be the love we feel towards those closest to us or the care we show to complete strangers at the grocery store or the post office or restaurant. We should respect each other and show kindness and empathy toward one another. May you all feel loved and cared for this year, and keep hope and joy in your hearts, come what may.
My favorite comic strip of all time was Calvin and Hobbes. It tells the story of a mischievous boy, Calvin, and his stuffed tiger, Hobbes, who comes to life when he and the boy are alone. And they have all kinds of adventures and funny, interesting conversations. Calvin is named after the theologian John Calvin, Hobbes after the philosopher Thomas Hobbes, and the banter between the two is often accented with the legalistic certainty of Calvin and the more pondering expressions about the basic state of human nature by Hobbes. Calvin is sometimes less civilized, though. Hobbes usually points that out, and their conversations weigh the virtues of surrendering some freedoms in the interest of a social contract that works against the otherwise assured rapid descent into a base state of violent chaos that occurs in nature, unreasoned, unled, and unguarded, all in a comic strip. Hobbes the tiger is about order, Calvin the human is about nature, and their commentary is awesome. And it's also just fun and funny. I would wake up each morning and turn to that comic strip first thing in the newspaper. I bought the books, we still have some, and I loved watching the boy and his friend come to life in silly adventures and with goofy observations. And when I found out the comic strip would end, I remember noting that day on the calendar and worrying about how it would happen. For the whole strip, Hobbes only came to life when he and Calvin were alone. Whenever someone else was around, Hobbes was drawn as a stuffed animal. And my concern was that the author would end the strip with Calvin seeing Hobbes as a stuffed animal for the first time and not as his magical best friend. This was a tension in the strip the whole time. Other people clearly saw Hobbes as a stuffed animal, and I worried that Calvin would come to see Hobbes in the same way and their special friendship would end. I understood the strip needing to end. Every good story has an ending, but I really didn't want that friendship to end. However the story concluded, I wanted their magical relationship to last, and I really did think about this quite frequently. I felt like I knew those characters and had gone on their adventures, that I had played in the snow with them and traveled through space with them and made up games with them. I knew that the strip would end on December 31st, 1995, and I woke up early that morning to go down and get the paper. My mom was at the table and she knew of my concern. We had talked about it. She had already read the comic, and she silently watched me immediately open up to the funnies and get to that final strip. This was on the last day of 1 year. The next day would be a new one. And in that space of ending and beginning, there were all kinds of anticipations. Some were hopeful, some were anxious, most were a blending of the two. We often end one thing and begin something new in that blurred space of anxiety and hope. A new job, a new relationship, a new commitment, a new purpose. All of these usually carry with them an ending of some sort, and all of them, even the most sought after changes, carry uncertainty in how they'll unfold. As T.S. Eliot wrote in Four Quartets in an excerpt of Little Gidding that is included in the back of our gray hymnal, what we call a beginning is often the end, and to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from. With the end of a year comes the beginning of something new, as with any ending and all beginnings. How we start 2024 is informed by the 2023 we've had. We wish we'd have done more of this or less than that. We wish we'd have called this person more often or eaten less of this or let go of that a long time ago. We wish we'd have forgiven someone, or at least tried to, or that we had asked for someone else's forgiveness, that we'd have worried less and walked more, that we'd have smiled more and sneered less. And then we resolved to do differently, to try and bridge the gulf between who we are and who we want to be. This kind of improvement of intentionally crafting a life that reflects our values and aspirations is what I like about resolutions. Done right, they can be honest assessments of the growth that would lead us to more fulfilling and intentional lives. Done poorly, they stunt growth by miring us in our own insecurities, but done maturely, a resolution acknowledges room for improvement and a desire to work on that. It doesn't have to be on New Year's, of course, that's just a convenient starting point. And our years start anew many times over the turning of a calendar, new baby, new job, new loss, new ending. And the resolution is an intention that is empty without action, and the fruits then become ours to harvest in how we live. Sometimes my own harvest is abundant. I resolved a few years ago to limit social media, and that has gone very well for me. I've also resolved countless times to eat less candy, and I never come close. I don't even get out of the first week of January. I barter with myself, though, telling myself that I'll exercise more to make up for a bad diet, even though that was never part of the resolution. It just becomes part of the plan when those Reese's peanut butter cups come calling. I tell myself that resolutions can be flexible, knowing the convenience of that argument, knowing it even as I unwrap another peanut butter cup. I also resolved many years ago to laugh at myself more often, which helps in situations just like that. Emily Salyers of the Indigo Girls said in a live recording of a concert one time that you have to laugh at yourself because you'll cry your eyes out if you don't. And it stuck with me. I resolved to do that and try to, not so much so that I won't cry, but so that I won't take unserious things so seriously, which can be my nature. Let things go, carry no baggage, travel lightly. Laughing helps with all of that. We start the year not knowing what will happen, but with a sense of who we want to be as things unfold. For that is usually what we can control, not what happens, but who we are when it happens. And the resolutions to keep doing what feeds us and stop doing what famishes us centers us for the unknown days to come. Maybe we make a list of things we like about ourselves, things we do well or qualities we hold and want to continue offering others. And maybe a list of that which saps our spirit and narrows our gifts, insecurities, the opinions of others, comparisons, and we let go of everything that we can on that list. The former list can strengthen us for the latter one, for it takes gifts to grow and change, and we all have them, even if they go unnamed. And so perhaps as we name here what we'd like to grow, we also name where we are kind of good. Yes, I eat too many sweets, but I also get plenty of fresh air and exercise. Yes, I can be too serious sometimes, but I love and can tell a great dad joke. Yes, I can worry about what's to come even when I can't control what's to come. But yes, at least I can know that and smile upon it. Yes, I can worry about the ending of a comic strip that I did not create and have no influence on. But even then, I can wake up on its last day and turn to it and see that the strip ended with the boy and his fully alive tiger friend sledding across a clear, snowy winter field, with the boy saying, "It's a magical world, Hobbs, old buddy. Let's go exploring." The tiger is alive. The boy is free and healthy. The world is new and to be enjoyed. And across the table, my mother is looking at me smiling because she knows this is how I wanted it to end. And I smile back and with a relieved sigh, go exploring as we all do every day. Exploring the mundane, the magical, moving through every new day of the year, carrying gifts, dreaming, and putting to life the lives we want to live. May we do so this year with love and humor and forgiveness. And may we do so with one another, holding on to the magic for as long as we can. May it be so, and amen.
Invite you into a time of reflection. Get as comfortable in your chairs as you're able to. If you would like to close your eyes, take a deep breath in and release. Another one, deep breath in for everything you might be holding. And then release. Reflect on something you are currently doing that nurtures yourself, your human beingness. Maybe it's something that helps you center or ground. Is it an activity that sparks joy, cares for your health, and all the many ways that we can define that? Something that makes you feel alive in this world, to go on that adventure that sparks joy. Think of this action as something you want to claim for yourself, to keep, to continue into this new year, as it's one that brings meaning and or balance and or security and or connection. And then once you have something in mind, open your eyes. And hopefully you received a little piece of paper and a pencil when you came in. And I invite you to write that thing, or if you'd rather draw something that symbolizes that in the next few moments. If anyone hasn't received a paper, maybe one of our ushers can bring one around to you. You could just raise your hand. If more than one thing comes to mind, you can feel free to jot down a couple more, but it's not necessary to focus on the multiples. We'll give one another a few minutes to maybe contemplate a bit more and write something down. We invite you to save this piece of paper, perhaps in a place that reminds you of the wonderful thing that you are and the wonderful things you're doing to care for yourself. You could put it on your refrigerator, tape it to the mirror, fold it up and place it in a wallet or handbag or book bag, you know, one of the places you're actually kind of going in and out of. Or if you do an annual visioning board, you could paste it to that. The intention is for you to have it somewhere special to remind you of this wonderful action you are claiming for your joy, for your spirit, for the celebration of your awesome self into this new year and beyond.
The poet Naomi Shihab Nye wrote the poem Burning the Old Year, which reads, letters swallow themselves in seconds, notes, friends tied to the doorknob, transparent scarlet paper sizzle like moth wings, marry the air. So much of any year is flammable, lists of vegetables, partial poems, orange swirling flame of days, so little is stone. Where there was something and suddenly isn't, and absence shouts, celebrates, leaves a space. I begin again with the smallest numbers, quick dance, shuffle of losses and leaves. Only the things I didn't do crackle after the blazing dies. Friends, we now turn to our ritual of letting go. Something has happened in this past year that is best left in the past, or perhaps it is something of a while ago and now is the time to let it go, a self-perception, an insecurity, a harshness, a wound, a quality you'd rather be without. As we look toward the new year, we invite you to come up to the front, write down a word or two that symbolizes what you'd like to let go of, and then burn it. You'll write it down on this table here and lay it in the sand in the bowl, and then we will set it on fire. The paper is flash paper, so it's a little hard to write on, but it burns very quickly. So just a word or two that represents what you'd like to let go of will work best. And we'll ask you to come up the side aisle here and then go to that table and then this table, and then you can return down the center aisle or the side aisle here. So starting sort of in the front and then working our way back, we invite everyone to come up, write down something you'd like to let go of, and then together we'll burn it in our burning bowl. May it be so, and may we make it so. Let us rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Life. And at the end of our hour, we extinguish our chalice, knowing that its light carries us until we gather again. Go forth grateful for the moments before you, the breath within you, the people among you, and the Spirit guiding you toward lives of love and kindness. And go forth knowing that you are held always and always with everyone else by that great love of no beginning and never ending. Go in peace and go have a great new year. And if you're up at midnight, tell me how it goes. Go in peace and amen.